And away we go. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you happen to be in the world today. Welcome, one and all, to Coffee Talk. It is time for Coffee Talk Live, where we will be having some discussion about what is going on in the world today, taking a look at some of what is in the news, and having a little bit of discussion, a little discourse with those of you who are able to join us for the live portion. And of course, you can find the live portion Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, on Coffee Talk and Prepper University. That's at Coffee Talk Live and at Prepper University. You can also find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Coffee Talk Chat, and fistfulofradio.com, podcasting out of Atlanta Monday through Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Friday at noon. As we get ready to jump off here, I do read through as many comments as I reasonably can for the benefit of those of you who are listening and not able to see. I'll go ahead and say hello to some of the people that have been able to chime in so far. See, Brian is here, who thinks we're in Soviet bloc Russia. Says, greetings, comrade. Holly is here. Dragon, Helter. Sven is here. Sean and Dilo, who reminds people, thumbs up. Please do, if you don't mind, thumbs up all the way. I'll take all the thumbs up I can get. I'll take all the help I can get. Right, Daniel? Daniel is here today. When's the last time anybody saw Daniel? I'll show him really quickly. Daniel, everybody. Dusty's brother. Very, very friendly kitty. Aren't you, buddy? He's a good boy. Daniel's a good boy. He always looks like he's surprised about something. But he's a very, very good boy. One of the rescue cats that we have. Daniel, everybody. And I'll go ahead and get started with the news now that I've done all that. There you go. And H12 wants to know if I have an email. Hold on a minute there. Let me see. And War Queen has joined us as well. So there you go, H12. And I did get to Walmart today, and they a little bit of tooth pulling, but because it's really weird the way they've got it all set up. But I did get the cat food that you sent for me. There was nothing else. They said that they saw nothing else on the order, only cat food. But, you know, I did get it. I do appreciate it. It's helpful. Anything that that helps us with the strays and the cats that we take care of for Halo House is a big deal. So I appreciate it. As we get ready to jump off into the realm of the ridiculous. And of course, the chief of that would be your friend and mine, Joseph Biden. There he is. There he is at the 4th of July event held for military families, making a fool of himself. Daily Mail. Yes, Daily Mail article, Biden bungles a Trump diss at 4th of July event for military families. Yep, because what do you do when you go to an event for military families? You campaign. You talk about everything but their sacrifice. President Joe Biden continued to struggle when going off script Thursday. He shouldn't do that. He must know by now not to go off script. As he tried to insert a jab at former President Donald Trump in his 4th of July remarks, the President and First Lady Jill Biden, alongside Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, spoke to military families on the South Lawn, the first of 2 presidential appearances at the White House to mark the holiday. And as usual, he made it all about him. The 81-year-old is being heavily scrutinized after his car crash of a debate performance last Thursday, with a handful of Democratic lawmakers saying publicly they think Biden should bow out of the presidential race. His comments came just hours after an interview with a black radio station in Philadelphia where the president appeared to confuse his gender and race. That's right, and I have that article pulled up, actually. The White House has pointed to an upcoming interview with ABC's George Stephanopoulos, pictured to prove Biden is able to speak off the cuff, but he muddled his comments when he slid off the teleprompter Thursday. By the way, I was at the World War One cemetery in France, and the one of our colleagues, a former president, didn't want to go and be up there. Biden said, "I probably shouldn't even say that." Anyway, he continued, his voice going low. At another point in the speech, he again said, "By the way, I've been all over the world," he said, his voice dropping to a mumble. "I've been in and out of battles anyways. You're incredible," he told the military members and the family gathered on the South Lawn. When has Biden ever been in battles? When was he ever in a military excursion? When was he ever in battles? And he was at the World War One cemetery in France. Was he at the World War One cemetery in France? Was he? And War Queen thinks that's funny. And H12, if you can see the comments section, I posted an email contact there. Juan says, "Delaware is watching. We knew 5 years ago." You should have known in the 80s. You should have known in the 80s. Oh, cats are piling up in the room here. So he went off the cuff. He tried to take a dig there at Donald Trump for not. Well, Trump wasn't invited to that ceremony. What do you want him to just show up? Then you'd accuse him of crashing the party. And it wasn't World War I. It was World War II commemorations. The president started greeting members of the crowd when he was told that his presence outside meant that more guests weren't being led into the White House gates. Biden promised to come back and out and talk to people. The supporter yelled, "Keep up the fight. We need you. You got me, man. I'm not going anywhere. We need you." Oh, my God. Biden then continued, "I'll come back out when they let or open the gate, okay? Thank you, thank you, thank you." He then stalled his exit by telling one more story about when he was a senator. There was always congestion on the highway, and there's no congestion anymore. Right. Okay. I don't know what that has to do with the 4th of July or military families. Maybe there's no congestion on the highway because now he's in a presidential motorcade. If that is even true. He was talking about the perks of having the presidential motorcade. Oh, there we go. And the way I should play the numbers. And the way to get me to stop talking, they'll say, "We just shut down all the roads, Mr. President." Biden said, "I'll be back out," he promised. Did he come back out? There was a cloud over Thursday's festivities, and it wasn't just the pop-up shower in the late afternoon, as Biden's political future hangs in the balance after Democratic governors expressed support, though tepidly at first, over the president's decision to stay in the race. Meeting attendees started leaving juicy details to the press. Okay. So he was in many battles. Did you know that? Maybe he was a mercenary. Maybe he was a mercenary. George says he was in the battle back in 1770. Don't you know? He lost, though. Yeah, that must be it. Armin says Biden was in Korea fighting the bad orange men with ice cream. Juan says he wasn't there in the 80s. He's from Atlantic City. And Jane has joined us. Glad you could make it, Jane. That he was in many battles. He was in many battles, and he was at the World War I commencement and cemetery a few weeks ago, and tried to make fun of Trump for not being there. And again, Trump was not invited. Trump was not invited. And then he anecdotes by talking about how there's not as much traffic on the freeway anymore. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Oh my God. Yeah, we need you, man. We need you, man. And Puck is here. Glad you could make it. As we shift around here, because we got plenty more to talk about when it comes to Biden. This is a Business Insider article. Business Insider article. Biden's bad week just got worse. Excuse me. Now I'm flubbing. And this was the radio station interview that they alluded to in the previous article. Okay. Biden's bad week just got worse after he said he was the first black woman to serve with a black president. Didn't you know? Didn't you know? In his latest verbal slip-up, the president said he was proud to be the first black woman to serve with a black president, and that is a direct quote. I'm not paraphrasing. The 81-year-old president mixed up his words during an interview at Philadelphia's Word studio station, WURD. Is that a black station? It sounds like it. When referring to his vice president, Kamala Harris, and former President Barack Obama, he must have the two administrations confused somehow. Quote, by the way, I'm proud to be, as I said, the first vice president, first black woman to serve with a black president, he said. Biden likely jumbled the sentence because he'd earlier spoken about being the first vice president to serve under a black president. Yeah, I'm sure that's it. Earlier in the, maybe he identifies as a black woman now. Then he's guaranteed to win. He's going to run as a black woman. I identify as a black woman, so vote for me. Earlier in the interview, he also spoke about how he was the first president to have a black woman as vice president, had an appointed Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, the first black woman to serve on the Supreme Court. Ketanji Brown Jackson is a diversity hire of the worst kind. This is the woman that sat up before the congressional interviews and said that she doesn't understand what a woman is because she's not a biologist. I would have had a field day with that. I'm the one that should have been doing that interview. How did you get here today? Oh, I drove. Are you sure you were in a car? Are you a mechanic? Where do you live? In a house. Are you sure you live in a house? Are you a carpenter? You could just tear that to shreds when people do that kind of dumb stuff. And Raccoon has joined us. And Sean says it's embarrassing. Yes, it is. Jane says Biden has not been in the military at all. Sure he has. And Puck says Democrats don't know what a woman is. They claim not to. Helter says sounds like he's mixing up two thoughts, that he was vice president for the first black president, and that Kamala Harris is the first black female vice president while he was president. Yeah, he jumbled them up. I don't think he corrected it, though. And they just let him keep talking because why not, you know? And then you could also make the argument that neither Barack Obama nor Kamala Harris are technically quote unquote black, except when they claim to be, except when it suits them. And Sven says, oh yeah, I wiped my behind. Are you a toilet paper maker? Yeah. Do you work for Charmin? How do you know what toilet paper is? Jane thinks that I make her laugh out loud. I know I can be very snarky. But this stuff is just so ridiculous, some of it. And Jenny is here. Glad you could make it, Jenny. And Dragon, yes, he is a strong, independent black woman. Yes, he is. Biden is a strong, independent black woman. And don't you tell him otherwise. He's gonna be the first black female president. Roman Catholic, when it suits him, because while he was Roman Catholic, he also apparently attended synagogues and Southern Baptist all-black churches, but there are no synagogues or Baptist churches that can confirm that he ever set foot in one. So there you go. There you go. And Ragnar is here. He says he's late, but that's okay. We're glad you could join us. Just looking at more verbal flubs courtesy of the Commander-in-Chief, the resident of the White House. It says it comes just days after Biden's debate with former U.S. President Donald Trump, which was marked by verbal gaps and confusing statements. Biden is now facing increasing pressure to drop out of the presidential race. In a poll by Reuters and Ipsos, 1 in 3 Democrats say Biden should quit. And again, I don't care about these polls. I don't give a damn about polls because they, the number of people that they interview, in my opinion, it doesn't count. You can't interview like 500 or 1,000 people and then tell me that this somehow this somehow speaks for the entire population. You can't do that. And I'm gonna pull up Reuters poll and I'm gonna show you the actual numbers so that you can see. And Jane says thumbs up, yes please, if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen. If you do not mind. And Puck says Kamala is the first hyphenated American VP. And here goes all people talking about what I just said, that technically speaking, and there are a lot of people that will argue neither Obama nor Kamala are black per se by the definition of what an American black person would consider to be black. But they'll say they are when it's convenient to do so. And here's Reuters polling numbers, okay? There's the Reuters page, and here it is. Poll conducted online, surveyed 1,070 U.S. adults. That seems to be the number recently, because the last poll I examined was also 1,070 people. So you cannot tell me that you interviewed 1,070 people and that represents everyone in the United States. I'm sorry, no. I don't accept that. No one interviewed me. They wouldn't interview me. I don't fit the stereotype. And Monkey has joined us. And Puck says, did you cover the Trump video of him on a golf cart yet? Said Biden was dropping out. I don't think I saw that. I know where I saw, of course, in the debate where he started arguing about golf. Trump made reference to golf, and Biden jumped on it and talked about how he had a 6 handicap and carries his own golf bag. He got into a little pissing match with about golf scores. I thought that was pretty sad, actually. And Jane says, I thought Kamala, dad was from Jamaican and mother was from India, was born in the state of California. I'm confused. Something like that. Actually, all people can probably explain her lineage better than me. All people, if you want to throw that in the comment section there, and I'll put it up really quick, because they're not 100% by any means. They're not 100% by any means. And Puck says using that term got him 30 days in Facebook jail. The term that was used to describe that's the term that used to be if you were mixed something or other, they would call you that. I don't know if I could say it on ScrewTube or else I'll get in trouble. I don't know, because who remembers what I got in trouble on Facebook for? Let's see who's paying attention. Who remembers what I said on Facebook that got me suspended once? And Monkey says Trump literally baited Biden with the golf. Well, he couldn't. He couldn't resist. He couldn't resist. And they're trying to move up the interview process too, because the next interview is going to be on ABC. The next interview is going to be on ABC, and they're trying to push it up now. They're trying to move it again. And I guess they figure the sooner they can get it over with, the better. And Monkey hit it. He said it was something with Randy Savage. Of course, you all know Randy Poffalo, who was the Macho Man Randy Savage in the WWF, the old WWF, one of the most famous classic wrestlers. He's up there with Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. Everybody knows who that is. And I was talking about something relating to the WWF, and I mentioned Macho Man Randy Savage. And they nailed me, claiming that Macho Man was like a gay slur. They suspended me. And Kimberly's here. Thanks for joining us, Kimberly. But that just goes to show you how bad these algorithms are and how bad these social media services are. Who doesn't know who the hell Randy Savage is? Seriously. I bet you if I went to Korea and brought up Randy Savage, they'd know who he is, or was rather, since he passed away a couple of years back. Another Daily Mail article: Biden forces ABC to push up the crucial interview in Friday primetime slot. Let's hurry up and get it over with. Rip that Band-Aid off and pull out that IV, I guess. The White House is making urgent moves to get President Joe Biden in front of cameras and crowds on an expedited schedule amid growing calls from within his party to step down after his debate disaster. Biden's handlers had already put in place a sit-down interview with ABC's George Stephanopoulos to try to fend off calls from lawmakers and donors to demonstrate that he is still up to the task of campaigning. Now the interview will air days sooner than originally scheduled. The full interview will now air in prime time on Friday night, giving Americans the first extensive look at the president in a Q&A format since Biden rattled off old phrases and appeared to lose his train of thought during Thursday's debate with Donald Trump. The downed ballot freaked from elected Democrats has not ebbed, and the negative media coverage and information flow about Biden's debate debacle has only intensified, according to Mitt Romney. Yeah, I don't care what Mitt Romney thinks. They'll just edit the hell out of it, and he'll probably still look bad. As a result, the White House is motivated more by necessity than designed to schedule a major interview. There's an urgency to get the president out there so he can address the blowback directly, but the move follows days lost time when senior members of his own party raised doubts about his candidacy, and 3 elected Democrats have called on him to step back. Friday is still a tardy response, given that the controversy will have been spiraling for over a week, but waiting until Sunday would have been too late, said Madden. The network will air portions of the interview on World News Tonight Friday with David Murr during the 6 p.m. hour of ABC's World News Tonight with David Murr, then air the entire interview at 8 p.m. It will run again on Sunday during ABC's This Week, putting the president before millions of viewers while polls are registering growing concern among voters about his fitness for another term. Oh, he's in great shape. Just ask him. He'll tell you all about it. And Fluke Man has joined us. Good to see you today. And there is All People's response that I asked him to throw up, so you can go ahead and read that really quickly. In reference to Kamala Harris. But yeah, they're moving the interview up. I'm sure they'll edit the living hell out of it so that it doesn't look nearly as bad as it is. I'm sure he'll be reading or he'll be getting directed responses. Yeah. And hopefully most people will see through it. The campaigning is relentless. This guy must have $1 billion to spend on commercials because it's nonstop political ads from the Democratic Party hoisting up Joe Biden on the radio, on the TV. It's relentless, nonstop. And I haven't seen an ad from Trump yet. I haven't seen or heard an ad from Trump yet, but I've seen and heard a crap ton from Biden. I was looking for the one with the stick figures. I couldn't find it. There's a lot of them talking about how he's saving our lives with climate change, and there's a bunch talking about how dishonest Donald Trump is. It's absolute. They're beating you down, and the stuff that they say about him, a lot of it's not true. I'm just sick of hearing it. It's incredible. Monkey says likely his handlers will have to put a time slot in for when Biden is more active and not as tired or exhausted, but then again, he'll just nail in his re-election coffin. Dragon says, what will he do if a crisis happens late at night? Stay in bed, handle it in the morning. Well, that going to ring up Kamala, and she's got his back. Sven says, Romney, who gives a crap what the rhino has to say? Yeah, I don't care about what Mitt Romney says. I hate when they tell you what someone else had to say about it. That's why a lot of times when I'm reading these articles, and they start talking about what some, I guess, well-known so-called influencer had to say on TikTok, and they put a quote from like such and such on TikTok had this to say. I don't care what the hell he had to say. I don't know who that is. Just write the article. People can't write the articles anymore. They don't know how to write an MLA paper. If you can do that, you can write an article. It should have a title. It should have a brief description. Then you get your body of text, and then, if necessary, a bibliography. And they don't do that anymore. They're cutting it in half and putting TikTok quotes to fill it up. Helter says problems in the world don't stop after 8 at night because he wants to get some sleep. The issues in this country are the same. Well, for him, it stops at 4 p.m. According to the previous articles that we read, where they said that he's only really, his maximum cognitive response will be between 10 and 4. The closer you get to 4 p.m., the more he trails off and becomes incoherent, evidently. And I had speculated that sounds really familiar to me, having worked in mental health. And I'll tell you again, for people who might not have heard this, you get up at like 8 or 9 in the morning, you take your pills, you have breakfast, and it perks them up for a little while. But then by the time you get to lunch at 1 or 2 o'clock, and then they have lunch and take their second round of meds, all those meds on their liver and kidneys, it starts wearing them out. And then they start getting sleepy and messy. War Queen says, I could take a lucky silent guess as to what you said about that one. Yeah. And Puck says, heavily edited interview would help Biden's delusional apologists. That is a good point. That's exactly what it's going to be. And Flukeman says Trump is his own advertisement, and the Democrats don't understand the meaning of repetitive and boredom. No, because I'm about done. I can't stand hearing another Biden promo ad. There's too many, and they're back to back, and talking about how they saved us because of climate initiative, and we're building all of these wind farms and solar farms, and as I've already demonstrated several times, those things don't work. You rolled out a system that was not perfected. You rolled out a system that was not perfected, and you expect us to somehow work with it. And we're seeing this all over the place with technology being rolled out and forced out that was not ready for public use. It wasn't ready. The electric cars, they're not ready. They're not ready. If you had perfected it and you put it out, fine. I'd have nothing to say. But they don't work. They don't work as well as they should. The electric tools do not work. I'm starting to see, because my wife and I go to thrift stores a lot, I'm starting to see these electric tools turning up at Goodwill and Value Village. The electric chainsaw, battery plug-in, the green ones, electric chainsaw. We saw a couple of electric mowers. They look hardly used. They look practically new. Just got some scuffs on them, a little dirty, but not hardly used at all. Why are they there? Because they don't freaking work, and people couldn't return them. Raccoon says, what scares me is that all the brain-dead Swifties will vote for Biden because Taylor Swift supports him. Ugh, God. You know what you don't have to worry about there, Raccoon? People like that, they like to talk, but they don't vote. Go out to the polls. You know who you see at the polling centers? Old people. Old people. All these young people that piss and whine and walk around with signs and yell and bitch and moan and make shorts on YouTube and TikTok. Most of them don't actually vote anyways. They just wasted people's time. Kimberly says, I'm listening, but how is Random Kitty? Who do you mean, the new one? The one that was burned? He's doing great. And his scabs on his paws have healed. And they've come off now. And the PEDs are solid. Hit the palms. They call them PEDs. They look really good, but they're discolored from the burns now. But that's neither here nor there. He's healthy and he's doing great. He's doing great. Newsweek article. We're going to jump to New York. You'll love this. New York City doubles the debit card payments for the migrants. All right. Cash money. New York City is expanding its program to provide prepaid debit cards to migrant families, quote, illegal immigrants, staying in hotels to allow them to buy food and essential. Okay. That frustrates me when they say that's what those cards are for, because you're already providing them with food and clothing and toiletries and everything else. You're paying for that too. So how are these cards supposed to be for food and essentials? When you're catering, because we've read those articles already, because there's a huge debacle about the fact that the catering that has been hired was no contract bid catering. They just handed out contracts, and that these people won't eat the food. They throw it away. So the state's already paying for their food, already paying for their clothes, already paying for their toiletries. Plus, you're giving them a card, and the card's supposed to be for food, clothing, and toiletries. Did I miss something? Back to the article. It is expected that 7,300 prepaid debit cards will be distributed over the next 6 months. That's in addition to the ones that they've already given out, with a total value of over $2.6 million. The city currently hosts more than 60,000 illegal immigrants under its care, and the program will expand from 3 hotels to 17, which could assist 1,230 migrants every month. The program has received fierce opposition, I bet, from Republicans over fears the cards will be misused and that migrants are receiving preferential treatment over New York residents. We already know that they are, because one of the other articles that we read was that these people are getting 2 to 3 times as much on those cards as people who are receiving veterans benefits or people who are receiving welfare benefits. So yes, they are getting preferential treatment. City officials have said that the initiative will help to reduce the cost of caring for migrants. How? How are you reducing the cost by spending more? Someone explain that. Over 200,000 of whom have arrived in New York City within the last 2 years. In February, Mayor Eric Adams announced that migrants were to get $13 per day on a prepaid debit card to buy basic goods. It's more than that. That's not true, because we read that article. They're getting a lot of money. The Adams administration started testing the program with a small group of families with children staying at city-run shelters initially. After the program launched, it started at 3 hotels with roughly 3,000 migrants benefiting from the initiative. Must be nice. I want a card. Someone send me a prepaid debit card, please. I'll even take the $13 a day he lied about, because they're getting more than that. New York City Deputy Mayor for Health and Human Services Ann Williams Isom described the program as a success because someone lined her pockets. No, it says because it helps newly arriving families to make choices for themselves and their children. Oh my God, by using debit cards. Wow. They can buy from local shops and support small businesses and manage their own resources, she said in a statement. When we empower people, we help them achieve self-sufficiency and access the American dream. Oh my God. Someone put that on a t-shirt. You're not helping small businesses if their taxes are paying for those cards. Taxes you'll have to raise in order to fund them. Wow. When we empower, how are you empowering people? By giving them things instead of having them work for them. They don't learn nothing. We help them achieve self-sufficiency. They're not self-sufficient if you're paying for everything for them and access the American dream. It's an American freaking nightmare for everybody else. It'd be the American dream if I was getting everything for free. Hell, good Lord. You know the old adage, if you give you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. If you teach a man a fish, he eats for a lifetime. You're not teaching anybody to fish with these programs. H12 says, I sent you a receipt that shows the cat litter on it. Okay. The way they explained it, H12, was they said it was possible that maybe that particular item might have been out of stock, but the cat food was the only thing in the bin, and that the that it may have been out of stock and that no one followed up on it. That was what he speculated, but he couldn't find anything else on the ticket. If I get a chance and we go back by, it might be a few days, but if we get back by there again, I'll try again, and I'll try to make a copy of the receipt that you sent. Okay. And again, I'm sorry about all of the mix up there, H12, because I do appreciate the help. I do appreciate the help. Let me catch up a couple of comments here. Jane says they read on X last night they were giving the Ukrainians 75 million more. Are you sure it's million or billion? Because we've been giving them billions of dollars. Kimberly says he's happy about the burned baby healing. So am I. I just felt because you can get bad infections from that kind of stuff. Fluke Man says credit cards are for Gucci, Tommy Hilfiger, Rolex, and many other items to make them feel American. Make them feel American. And all people has to invoke images of Liz Warren and her 164th to 1064th percent Indian that she is. That is Native Indian. When Liz Warren said she had Native American Indian in her. Yeah, when you get down to those numbers, everybody does. War Queen says, why are they our problem and why are they getting our country's money? Because Biden arranged it that way. Or I should say the lawmakers arranged it that way. They made it our problem. If our taxes are paying for it, it's our problem, everybody's. And all they can do is waste more money, and it's a shame. It's a damn shame. Jane says it upsets me that the South American let all of our inmates to come to, let out all the inmates to come to the U.S. I heard it's going to put, they're going to put gators and rhinos in the river near the U.S. border. That would be something, wouldn't it? And Monkey said that's ridiculous, like literally treating the regular U.S. citizen as second class. I know it. I know it, and it is. They are putting illegal immigrants ahead of U.S. citizens, and no country should put its own citizens on the back burner for people that are just coming in, especially people that have evidently, as far as I can tell, have no intentions of really integrating. And Dragon says, more free stuff for illegals. Where's my card? No kidding. No kidding. And Tuck says the UN is actively smuggling. Smuggling illegals from multiple continents up through South America, aided by the government. The illegals pass through to get here. That includes the U.S. government. War Queen thinks we woke up from the dream a long time ago. I know. This is hard. It's hard, and it's costing us. We can't afford this. We cannot afford this. We can't afford to deal with this anymore. I mean, how much of this do we have to put up with? How much of this do we have to put up with? Monkey says, and yet, unfortunately, people that live there will vote for it, expecting something different. Isn't that what Einstein's definition of insanity is? That would be correct. Einstein's definition of insanity is to continue to do the same thing and expect a different result. Expect a different result. And Cyberjack Sr. has joined us. Glad you could make it today. So I try to... and H12 says he is apologizing. You don't need to apologize. He says, if it was for me, it would be sitting on my front porch in boxes delivered. Yeah, it's okay. That's why a lot of people use Amazon to mail it to the P.O. box. But yeah, I totally appreciate it. It's just, Walmart is wonky. And that's not something that you could have known. So there's nothing to apologize for, H12. Again, I do appreciate the help. Every bit, especially, like I said, we're dealing with 20 right now because we have some that are ready for adoption, and Halo House is having problems because their director is having or had surgery. So it's a mess right now. So, but yeah, we're just overwhelmed with felines at the moment. And Brian says, are they really even illegal immigrants anymore? That's a good question. Because if they allow them to be here legally, then it's not illegal. But technically, it's illegal because they shouldn't be here and they are violating the law. They are violating the law by being here. And Brian points out it's these crazy politicians just letting them all in. Exactly. Exactly. Oh. Yeah, and you could just go on and on with this. It's a terrible thing. And we can't afford it. We cannot sustain this. And I'll stand by my point again that it would be cheaper to deport them all or repatriate them, as it were. It would be cheaper to repatriate them, which means put them on a charter flight and send them back. Far cheaper. Far cheaper. Kimberly wants to know if I have a Amazon wish list set up. No, I do not. Not really. I could do that though. I mean, I have stuff on an Amazon. I don't know a wish list. I don't know if it's public, but I could do that. Anyways, as we shift around here, the Associated Press article, and we were just talking about this actually. All People says he doesn't know anyone a better life. No, we don't. We don't. You don't have to wish anyone ill will, but it's nothing unethical about sitting there and saying, man, we can't afford to help you right now, or I can't do this. And they're not vetting them either. So you don't know who the hell we're getting. Associated Press, U.S. bans on gasoline-powered leaf blowers grow, as does blowback from landscaping industry. And the reason for that is the electric-powered stuff doesn't work. It does not work well. The batteries die quickly. There's not very much power. They're like half as powerful, and they don't even last half as long. So this is a New Jersey article. The roar of the leaf blower has become an inescapable part of daily life in communities across America, leading towns and states to ban or restrict blowers that run on gasoline. That's not why they're doing it. It's not because of noise pollution. But the measures face blowback from the landscaping industry and some property owners who say that the battery-powered blowers favored by the legislation are costlier and not nearly as effective as the gasoline-powered ones. That's true. Anything electric is going to cost more, and it's going to be less reliable. Quote, if you look at what the machine does, how loud it is, how much it pollutes, it's not normal to be accepted where we live, where our children play, say Jessica Stolzberg, a writer and crusader against gas-powered leaf blowers who helped get a ban on the machines enacted in her hometown of Montclair, New Jersey. Ugh. Since that ban took effect last October, Montclair has been a healthier, cleaner, quieter community. How do you know? How do you know it's cleaner? But the ban is being challenged in court by landscapers, just as the push to move away from burning fossil fuels to power cars and homes is drawing opposition from business groups and numerous device owners. The move by government to force a switch to battery-powered leaf blowers has the industry complaining of increased costs and decreased performance under the new regulations. And I agree, it's a problem. It is a problem. Though several local communities have already enacted full or partial bans on gas-powered leaf blowers, New Jersey is considering banning them statewide. A state Senate committee on Thursday advanced a bill that would ban such blowers most of the year, but would allow ones using four-stroke combustion engines to be used during peak cleanup periods in spring and fall. You know why? Because the electric blowers won't do the job during those times. So we'll let you use them part-time because the electric ones suck. That's what they're offering to do. And like I pointed out recently, I've been seeing electric powered mowers and a chainsaw and some other stuff turning up in Goodwill and in Value Village. Why is that? And they look good. They look almost new. They're nice and clean. It's because they don't freaking work. They don't work. You have a big yard and you're out there with your electric mower going slow as death because it has half the torque of a traditional lawnmower, gas-powered mower, and you're out there for 20 minutes and you get half the job done and the damn thing dies on you. Then you got to go charge it and wait. Who wants to deal with all that? Who the hell wants to put up with all that crap? And Anarchy is here from rural Minnesota. Love to see an electric snow thrower tackle a Minnesota winter storm. Yeah, those things. The leaf blowers don't. I mean, the snow blowers don't work either. And you might remember, some of you, the article we read about the mothballed fleet of electric snow plows in New York that they had to warehouse because they don't work. All people wants to know if Puck used to comment on the Axe Truth show. Raccoon says the Amazon wish list is great. It also keeps your address private. I bought stuff on Amazon for animal shelter, and the address is withheld. Okay, I'll look into that. And Helter says, I've heard of people praising the gas-powered blower ban. Yeah, people that don't have to deal with it. Some landscapers have taken to the web to counter the settlement. I don't blame them, because if I had, and you've got to buy all new equipment. Let's say you're a professional landscaper. You've got all of those ride-on mowers, and you've got leaf blowers, and you've got weed eaters and all this equipment. And now suddenly the state's telling you can't use them. What the hell are you going to do? And you got to buy all new stuff, and it costs 2 to 3 times as much and doesn't work. How many times are you going to be able to run around if you're doing landscaping jobs and you've got 2 ride-on mowers? Let's say you got a crew and you got 2 ride-on mowers and some other equipment, right? And you're going from job to job, and if one of the mowers runs out, you got gas cans with you, and you can just fill the mower back up. If you have electric ride-on mowers and they die, where the hell are you supposed to charge them? Especially when it takes more than 8 hours for them to charge. What are you going to do? You're going to put all these people out of business. It's incredible. It's incredible. And Nature Nerd says, ridiculous. Let people do their own lawn maintenance with gas mowers. Yeah, let people do what the hell they want. It's too much. It's too much. It's the government leaning on the little guy again. They're always trying to crush somebody. They're always trying to push someone around. They're always over-regulating things. You know what they'll do? They'll let you keep the mowers and they'll charge you a carbon tax or some bullshit. And where's that money go? How is charging a tax on some kind of carbon helping the environment? Someone explain that to me, because I don't understand. I do not understand how the hell that works. Because they want a tax, or like in we read the other day about who is it? Greenland. They want to, or Denmark. It was Denmark. They're going to impose a carbon tax on cows to the equivalent of $100 per cow. I mean, seriously. They're going to impose a carbon tax on cows. And where's that money going to go? How's that helping the environment? What are they going to do with that? Are they going to make huge vacuums to suck the carbon out of the air? And then when you get it, where are you going to put that? Where are you going to put that? Nature Nerd says people live in apartments and don't have lawns. So they don't care about landscaping with functional tools. No, they don't understand what the hell. Jane says he can send kitties toys too. Okay, I'll do that. I'll set up an Amazon wish list. Okay, with pet supplies, because we go through tons of it. If you guys would like to do that, that'd be great. That'd be great. Like I said, I'll take all the help I can get in taking care of them. Kimberly says OT will go to research, which is basically paying somebody for doing nothing. Yeah, they'll spend it on more bureaucracy. More bureaucracy. They'll form committees to study the problem. And Fluke Man, one more here, and we'll get to the next article. He says a Hewlett-Packard technician set his laptop to only charge to the maximum 79% to help it extend its life expectancy. I imagine the same for cars and tools. That's interesting. That's an interesting point. That's an interesting point. But we'll go ahead and open this up. This ties in exactly with what we're talking about here. This is something that's going on in Oregon. Okay. Green Building Elements is the name of the service putting out this article. It says Oregon is shutting down small farms to protect the people. Monkey says New Jersey tackling the biggest issue in the state: gasoline, snow, and leaf blowers. Thank God they got that taken care of. No kidding. And Jane wants to know if I like to shop at Petco. There is a Petco near here. I don't go there too often. But there is a Petco very close. And they say that just teasing, most men do not like to shop unless it's Home Depot or Lowe's. Well, that's what my ex says. No, I don't mind. I don't mind shopping for the pets, and I try not to pay attention to where they have the adopted kitties, because I want to help them. I don't like them being in the little cages. Ours roam free. They get to run all over the place and play and hang out. But Oregon shutting down small farms. And to be clear, government, state and federal, have been attacking small farm operations for decades. Okay, they relentlessly attack all of them. So article reads, Oregon is taking a controversial approach to water conservation and groundwater protection by targeting small farms and market gardens. Yanessa TV, a project of Yanessa Ventures, shared a 20-minute video that details what local bureaucrats are up to. Using satellite technology, they're sending cease and desist letters to small farms, requiring expensive infrastructure upgrades. This crackdown has led to significant legal battles as small farmers struggle to comply with the new regulations. Here's what they had to say about this troubling development. And they will lose all those legal battles because they can't afford them. Oregon has redefined confined animal feeding operations to include nearly all types of small farms. This new definition encompasses any facility with a concrete or gravel floor, significantly impacting small dairy farms, chicken houses, and goat farms. The stringent requirements threaten the viability of these small-scale operations. Sarah King, owner of Godspeed Hollow Farm in Newburgh, Oregon, exemplifies the impact of these new regulations. With only 3 milking cows on her 11-acre property, she faces a $100,000 infrastructure requirement to continue operating. Let me re-emphasize that in case you missed it. This woman only has 3 dairy cows on her personal property. She has an 11-acre. Basically, she's homesteading, right? She's got 3 dairy cows. She's not selling milk. She couldn't be. She has an 11-acre property. Sounds like a lot, but that's not that big. All right, an 11-acre property, that'd be great. And she faces 100,000 in infrastructure requirements in order to continue operating. So to keep her cows, she's got to spend $100,000 under these new regulations. There's no way that they can afford that. The redefinition of CAFOs affects a wide range of small farms, including those with minimal livestock, obviously. Even farms with gravel or rock floors for basic operations like shearing sheep are classified now under CAFO. This broad application of the new law puts nearly all small farms at risk of shutdown due to the prohibitive cost of compliance. Small dairy farmers and other affected groups have filed lawsuits against the state of Oregon challenging the new regulations. Currently, there is an injunction on the CAFO definition, preventing its enforcement until the case is resolved in court. At least they got that. The legal battle underscores the continuous nature of the new laws. That is insane. That is insane. Dragon says they're shutting down farms to protect the people from having access to food and staying alive. I couldn't have said it better. Absolutely. Helter says small farms have been everywhere for thousands of years. They are the mainstays of small communities. Oregon should start by closing golf courses down. They use much more water and chemicals. Yeah, no kidding. Kimberly says Tractor Supply may work with you or having an adoption day. Oh, yeah? That's interesting. I'll have to check that out. And Nature Nerd says carbon helps plants grow bigger, so the government has the wrong idea. Most of Oregon is empty, perfect for farms. Yeah, well, try explain that. Most people don't understand how any of this works anyway, and they believe whatever bullshit they saw in a commercial. They believe science moms or something like that, and they think science moms, and they're talking about fires are burning hotter now. How is fire burning hotter? Whatever the combustion maximum is for a given element is as hot as it's going to get. Okay? Oak isn't going to burn hotter because of climate change. It has a threshold. You see what I'm saying? Everything, paper isn't going to burn hotter than however hot paper burns. It has a maximum threshold of combustion. All elements have a maximum threshold. They're not going to burn hotter because climate. That doesn't make any sense. But try explaining that to anybody. They don't get it. They don't get it. Tuck says his relative had a 10-acre parcel, big yard, yes, big homestead, no. So she's got 3 dairy cows probably for her family's own personal use, and $100,000 in infrastructure changes. That's obscene. It's obscene. Brian says most of the population believes everything from the media. Unfortunately, you are correct. Unfortunately, you are correct, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, you are correct. People believe whatever the hell you tell them. They don't think for a second. Can you hear that? I'll put the music on heartbeat because we're about to wrap up. I'm going to see if I can grab a little guy. He's around the corner here. And I am back. Sorry for the pause. Since we talked about him, here he is. He's the one that was inside the car engine and burned his little paws, which you see the marks there. They're permanently discolored, but the scabs are healed. That one was a lot worse. But they are healed. He's a sweetheart. He's a real bundle of energy. Loves attention. Yeah, this is why I do it. I love them all. It's hard to adopt them. I want to keep everybody, but I can't. Isn't that right, buddy? Yeah, he's a sweetheart. He really is. There he is. That's why we do it. This is why we do it. But anyway, again, you are listening to and or watching Coffee Talk. And you can find the live portion Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. Yeah, Raccoon says he's getting so big already. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's off the bottle now, though. We had to bottle feed him at first. He wasn't able to eat regular food, even soft food. So we had to bottle feed him for a while, but he's able to eat soft food now. Isn't that right, buddy? He's getting really big. So I will go ahead and sign off, and I'll look into Amazon since several of you suggested that. I really appreciate it. You know, all the help we can get, like I said, taking care of our little friends here. And I'll go ahead and sign off. Thank you, everybody who was able to join us here today. Hope you got something out of the conversation. And